just take a minute and I'll let you know when we're on the website.
Okay.
All right, we are good to go.
All right. This is the July 24th, 2024 meeting of the ALCOSAN Green Committee. Ms. Prater, could you take the roll?
Shayna Thorpe Gilliam, Paul Klein,
Here.
Emily Kincaid.
Here. All right, we have a couple informational items. So we'll start with item A, Cycle 9 application submissions. Ms. Williams?
Madam Chair, we will turn this endeavor over to the manager of wet weather programs, Tim Prevost. Take it away, Tim.
Thank you, Arletta. So, as you mentioned, the meeting agenda, we have 3 informational items. There are no action items this meeting. And we will talk about right now Cycle 9 application submissions. From the previous Green Committee meeting, I shared with you a summary of the letters of interest. That's what LOI stands for. And we received many letters of interest for the Cycle 9 program. $46 million estimated cost of these 37 projects, and then we bookend them with the minimum match and maximum match to give the committee an understanding of what the range could be. And all these numbers, I'll point out, are rounded to the nearest $1,000. After reviewing the letters of interest, we selected applications or some of the letters of interest to invite to the program. And you'll notice that there's an asterisk next to one of the numbers. I will explain that in the next slide. But for the invited projects, you'll see what has been bookended. "39 applications and 1 extended review from Cycle 8 were turned in. Those I&I projects, there was one project in the Pine Creek sewer shed that was so large that it needed to be broken out to be more manageable. It covered the entire borough of Shaler, and based on the flow monitoring data that ALCOSAN provided to Shaler several years ago, we requested that they break out the projects into individual ones. So that is why you start to see more projects than what was invited, because one of those projects was one letter of interest that we requested be broken out into 6 applications. And that makes our analysis of the project a little bit more, runs more smoothly. And then you also see there is an asterisk next to the sewer separation because we are including that extended review project that was from East Pittsburgh. Again, all the applications, little over $35 million in value for these projects. And when you bookend them, a little more than $5 million to $30 million in potential value or potential match. Based on previous estimates and previous results from these project types, We are estimating that cycle 9 will fall probably somewhere in the range of $9 to $13 million this cycle. It's not an exact science. We're still going through the reviews, but so far, most of these estimates that we've given have been somewhere in this range. And I feel pretty confident that this cycle will fall in this range also. Are there any questions in regards to the application submissions so far?
None for me.
What you see here is a schedule. Now that we have all the applications, we have gone through and started reviewing all of these applications, and with 39 of them, it's not going to be an easy endeavor. So ALCOSAN, with our consultant Jacobs, sets out a schedule, and everybody has a little piece in this. And I will talk a little bit more about that in the next part of this agenda, going through the project evaluation, how we do it, and what goes into it. So project scoring and ranking. Every application that we get does get scored, even though the matches are pretty much based only on how much we estimate the project's value is, monetary value, and also what we assume the overflow or water reduction is going to be. And I will walk through this. The first step, when we get the application, we're confirming receipt. And I want to send out a thank you to ALCOSAN's procurement department and IT department for putting together a new way of us getting these applications, knowing that we were going to get a lot of them. And also some folks no longer wanted to use USB drives. The IT department set up a SharePoint site so that all the people who got invited could populate their application onto this SharePoint site. And then procurement was able to take that information and start putting it in a format that we could then distribute around to the review team. I want to say thanks to Phil, Melissa from IT, Suzanne and Beth and everybody else who's been able to help us. And in the process, they confirm the receipt, we get the file on the server, and then we notify the review team that the applications are in and we're ready to initiate the review. The technical review takes a look at 4 different steps. We have a hydrology and hydraulics analysis. Now, hydrology means what is happening on the land before it gets into the pipes, which is the hydraulics. So we're taking a look at all these factors, and the hydrology and hydraulics analysis is a key component to determining how effective this project's going to be. A financial analysis is taking a look at the budgets, how much money might be necessary to complete this job, going through and identifying any potential ineligible costs. A constructability analysis goes through and makes sure that this project can actually be built and that there's not going to be impacts to to the neighborhoods or to other utilities. And then a triple bottom line and public education component, which talks about, the societal value of the project, the economic value, and also the environmental value, but also what is this project going to do to enhance the public's knowledge of what these projects are about. So by going through a hydrology and hydraulics analysis, the first thing we do is we take a look at the GIS information. GIS stands for Geographic Information System, information provided in the application. And these are maps and all the information that goes underneath each data point on a map. And then we ask the question, is the GIS data sufficient enough to inform the models that need to be built to assess the project? If the answer is no, then we'll conduct a field visit and see what is going on with this project and answer the questions that were not answered in the original submission. After that field visit, we should have enough information then to build a hydrologic and hydraulic model. And based on the results of that model, we get two criteria identified. The volume of flow removed from the regional collection system, and that's 20% of the score, and how much overflow is reduced, and that's 30% of the score. Now you'll notice that these two areas have some color. If there are any questions on any of these criteria, I can answer them. And I'll just throw it out there right now. If anyone has any questions on either one of these, how these are scored, I'd be happy to answer them. But if not, I can move on.
Yep.
The financial analysis will take a look at the project budget. And so we have a team that goes through every single cost estimate that is provided to us. And we provide the applicants with a template to follow. And the more detail that they provide in this template, the more understanding we have about what this project entails. Through this budget review, we identify any potential ineligible costs, and ineligible costs comes down to, is this cost pertinent to the job, pertinent to reducing stormwater or groundwater from getting into the system? If the answer is no, it's not an eligible cost. But if the answer is yes, then we move forward and we assign, we identify how much this project's value is. Detailed cost estimate review is what I just mentioned. And then we take a look at the municipal budgeting plan based off of all of this, and also their audited financial statements. The municipal budgeting plan basically identifies how much money is the municipality able to put into the job versus what the match is going to be. So if a municipality says we can fund this job with or without grow, that would be a maximum value or points to this project. If the municipality says we can only contribute a minimum amount and there's potentially a deficit, that would be a lower score. And the audited financial statement is a requirement that we ask from each applicant to provide us with 2 years of their two most recent financial statements. And those points are based on if they give us the past 2 years, or if they give us one, or if they give us none or older financial statements. If there are no questions, I will move on to constructability analysis. And this one's pretty straightforward. The constructability analysis will require a field visit only if necessary. If you remember when I was going through the tables, the majority of these projects are what we call I&I jobs, inflow and infiltration, and they're all underground. It's work that's being done on the pipes. There's really not much of any digging going on. So most of those projects are pretty much constructible. But if we have a green infrastructure project or a sewer separation project or a project of the other types that are eligible, we will go out and do a field visit. We'll also review all the information from the application. And from that, we have 3 criteria that we pull out from there. A project implementation schedule, which is going to say, when is this project going to begin? When's it going to end? And the sooner that the project is completed, the more points you will get. If the project is scheduled to be further in the future, the less points you get. The community disruption, is there going to be an impact on your neighborhood? Is there an impact on utilities? This is all identified in the application. And then public outreach is what do we do? What does the applicant do? Well, I'll just share with you what they do. a public outreach plan or public notification document which will address the construction's impact on the community and the community's benefit from the project's construction. And that if this is provided, they'll get 5 points. If the outreach plan is not provided, then they'll get 0 points. Triple bottom line and public education. This is going through and reviewing what is in the application. And if they have a triple bottom line assessment, they'll get up to 6%. And for public education, which I want to identify is a little different than public notification. Public education is more, to me, long-term. What public education, is there signage incorporated into the project? What will be the long-term understanding of the public, from the public on a project of this nature? Public education plan and signage will get them maximum points. Public education plan or signage will get 2 points. And if they did not include anything in here, they would get 0 points. Moving on. After we go through all of these analyses, you'll see this pie chart showing all the different criteria that we have. But what's highlighted here is those big 3: stormwater removal, overflow reduction, and municipal budget. Those 3 pretty much are a pretty strong indicator as to what that match is going to be. Projects that have high overflow reduction do very well in that criteria, and so would get a higher score. Stormwater removal, likewise, and municipal budget, understanding how they're able to fund this project gives us a better understanding about, there's a pretty good relationship between the score and what the match ends up being. And then we'll provide a review summary document in November. After all the reviews are done in September, we make a recommendation. The applications go out, and we will summarize every project into a document and then provide that on the ALCOSAN website. Again, I do want to highlight the scale of this review process. Right now, we are currently right here in week 4. And we've conducted some field visits. The modelers are hard at work putting together, the reviews, the funding, the budget reviewers are going through schedules and triple bottom lines. Those are on me, taking a look at that. All of this is leading up to, in September, we go through, we share this internally, and then finally, right there on Wednesday, September 18th, the Green Committee. And this is a major action item for the Green Committee. We will be prepared to discuss all the applications, every review, answer any questions that the Green Committee may have on the projects and our recommendations. Okay, cycle 10 schedule. This is the last informational item. Typically, ALCOSAN's GROW program has been an annual cycle. At the end of September, we move straight into the next cycle in October with municipal workshops. However, and currently we're in the application review process. But however, knowing that the municipalities are currently going through their consent order agreements, we have shifted the cycles now to 6 months. And right now we are here. So we're in the application review for cycle 9, but we're just wrapping up the municipal workshops for cycle 10. And in municipal workshops, which is offered to every municipality that is interested in meeting with us, these workshops are an open discussion. We talk about projects. We go into sometimes a fairly high level of detail about what this project is about, what they identified, maybe we identify a project. In the end, when we have these workshops, what we're trying to do is prepare each project for cycle 10 of growth, or for the next cycle, in this case, cycle 10. We have a lot of information that we have available from ALCOSAN. We also take a look at the information provided by Three Rivers Wet Weather, and also information that the municipality has identified. We pull all this information together, and we start assessing how this project may work out. The more developed the project is, the more likely that this municipal workshop is going to give us the opportunity to offer that municipality what we call a waiver. They will not need to do the letter of interest. They've already demonstrated that this project is ready for an application. Now you just have to wait for that application to come out. So by understanding the COAs, identifying impactful projects that will maximize our investment, and if necessary, we can identify resources to further enhance the understanding of this project. So as I mentioned before, this is where we're at. In cycle 10, we're going to be moving into letter of interest development. So August 1st, well, at the end of July, we will send out the waivers. Now, there won't be that many waivers this cycle, but there will be projects. We've been working for the past several months on several projects with some municipalities. They will get the waivers at the beginning of August. All of our customer municipalities and municipal sewer authorities will get a notice that cycle 10 has begun, and all the LOIs will be due at the end of September. And then in October, ALCOSAN will review all those letters of interest. I do want to point out a key, the next Green Committee is a key date, because we'll have the Cycle 9 awards, we'll have the Cycle 9 agreement, also Cycle 10's program guidelines and end date modifications, all which need a vote from the Green Committee and eventually from ALCOSAN's board. So those 4 items will be action items at the next Green Committee meeting. Fortunately, the program guidelines will not have any major changes. The reason why we have to have like the agreement and the modifications is because every year, every cycle, they're different. This is where I go and embarrass Max so that he can confirm that statement. Max?
Correct. We will adjust the dates and timing and everything else, but by cycle 10, we've pretty much streamlined both documents and worked out any kinks that we had in cycle 1, 2, and 3. Significant changes.
So there won't be many substantial changes, if any, in those 2 documents, but they still need to be approved. And that's it for this Green Committee. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I think you did a great job. Okay.
Thank you.
I don't have any questions. I think you covered everything.
Thank you. Okay, I think the next part on the agenda is other business.
Ms. Williams, any other business?
There is no other business. Thank you, committee. Appreciate your participation today. Look forward to seeing you in the room tomorrow.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And we are adjourned until September 18th. Is that the next one? All right.
Great.
Confirming. All right. September 18th, our very important meeting where we get to review and decide on all of these things. So I'm very excited. All right. Thank you all. Have a great
Thank
rest
you
of your